everybody, this is Dan for GemmyD on Cars. Happy New Year. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your year. I'm doing just fine myself. I am in the GemmyD headquarters here. I got Penny with me on the ground right here. So in this video, we're going to talk about my 8 favorite cars that I drove last year. 2021, aside from the whole pandemic thing, was by far, I think, the best year I've had as far as the quality and caliber of cars that I've driven. I drove some really special cars, and we're going to talk about my 8 favorite cars. So here's me on my desktop with my Rolls Royce. This car did not make the list just because I didn't get to drive it. So here we go. Okay, my number 8 favorite car I drove last year it might be a little bit surprising, but it is a 2013 Mini Cooper S Coupe. Now this thing is, we all know I'm a big fan of Minis. It's weird looking, it's a little funky, but it still has a 4-cylinder 6-speed manual. I really enjoyed this car. I feel like I liked it a little bit more than I thought I would. I just think it was definitely interesting. I mean, it had a lot going for it. I just love minis. I mean, if you would say what I like in a car, I like something smaller and lighter as opposed to bigger, although there are some big cars on this list too, but I really enjoyed this Mini, so that is number 8. Alright, so number 7 is this. This is the Dodge Ram TRX. This has the 6.4 liter heavy Hellcat motor, 700 horsepower in a truck. This thing is on the list just because it was just excessive and crazy in every way. This is the best truck ever made, I think, maybe until the new Raptor comes out. But I just had so much fun with this truck because it's just ridiculous in every way. I mean, just look at it. It's got the huge tires. It has the trolling of the Raptor. A big supercharged V8. I mean, it was ridiculously fast. This thing was just crazy on every level. I love this truck, and I'm not even a truck guy, so that is number 7. Okay, number 6 is the Audi RS Q8. I've said many times before that the Audi Q8 is the best looking SUV on the market, but this thing cranks it up to 11. Twin turbo V8, almost 600 horsepower in a car that looks like this with the huge rims. And like I said, it's a budget Lamborghini. This might be my favorite SUV I drove this year, except for one exception of a car that is a little bit ahead of this on the list. But I mean, how can you go wrong with the power plant that this thing has and just how good it looks? I love this SUV. The owner of this car has a couple other new cars that I would like to get my hands on. But yeah, Audi RS Q8 was absolutely fantastic. That's number 6. Okay, we're down to the top 5. So number 5 is right here on the screen. This is a Ford Mustang GT500. This is the most powerful car I've ever driven. 760 horsepower supercharged V8 in the car that looks like this. It sounded amazing. It looks the part. I love everything about this car. I had this ahead of the Hellcat just because I enjoyed driving it more. I like the styling a little bit better. The Hellcat is just a little too big and heavy, but this is also a big, heavy coupe as well. But this thing, the performance was insane. I mean, everything about it is pretty crazy, just like a lot of the other cars on this list, but I really enjoyed this. Can't wait to be a Ford owner. Hopefully this year I can finally say that. So yeah, awesome car. I would love to drive one of these again or anytime. So that is number 5, the GT500. Okay, number 4 right here is the Chevy Corvette C8. This thing is great. I mean, we all know that the C8 is radically different than any Corvette before, but I put this car ahead of cars like the Mustang just because this is more close to what I would think is like the perfect car. It's smaller, it's definitely still heavy, but it's mid-engine setup. I definitely like that better than like a front-engine setup like the Mustang. But yeah, this car was fantastic to drive. Lots of cool stuff about it. I love the squared-off steering wheel. I love the design approach they've gone to in this car. I think it looks great. It's the best performance bargain, like I said, on the planet right now. I think still going. It's still, the prices are still pretty cheap relatively compared to other cars in a car that goes 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. So this is one of my favorite cars I've ever driven. Definitely in the top 4 for 2021. So that's it. The C8, a fantastic car. Okay, so we're into the top 3 of 2021, and easily got a spot in the top 3. This is a 2018 Nissan GTR. This car was incredible in every way. It's an iconic Japanese car. Now, I put something like this ahead of the Corvette because this thing was definitely faster than a Corvette. I mean, this is tuned to something like 600, 620 horsepower, but I would prefer Japanese cars over American, pretty much. I'll say that. I mean, this is just a great car. Its reputation precedes it. I loved everything about it. The sound was fantastic. The performance was great. I mean, this car actually kind of scared me a little bit, sort of like the C8. But this was a big car, definitely a memorable drive, and one of my favorite cars I've ever driven. So that is why this is number 3, the Nissan GTR Godzilla. Okay, number 2. This might come as a little bit of a surprise for somebody, but if you know the channel, you know I'm waiting on a Bronco. But this is my second favorite car that I drove last year, just because the hype surrounding everything, and it definitely came through on everything. I love the styling of this SUV. I'm going to be taking delivery of one of these hopefully pretty soon, but I just love this thing. It was so impressive on every way. This was the car where I really, the most vehicle that I really had to pinch myself, like, wow, I really have this in my possession. This is from Bob Ruth Ford, and I text the owner. I said, hey, was there any way I can come do a video? And he said yes. So I went that day. I filmed with it. I love everything about this. I'm so excited to take delivery of one of these soon, but this Wild Track was just, it's a fantastic SUV. It was a hot day, had the top back. I drove with the soft top down the whole time when I drove. But yeah, this was a really exciting SUV to drive, and I can't wait to get my hands on my own and make it mine. But yeah, this is one of my favorite SUVs I think I've ever driven, and I can't wait to be an owner. So that's it. That's number 2. Here comes number 1. Alright, so number 1. This is without a doubt my favorite car I've ever driven, just because it was the most perfect car to me. It's the perfect size, it's the perfect weight. Sure, I would like to deal with a little bit more power, but it did not even need it. It has a 6-cylinder. This was a turbo. If I can't even remember correctly, I think it was something like 365 horsepower, something like that. It's not fresh in my mind, but I love everything about this car. This one, also like the GTR, its reputation precedes it. It's a 911. It's an iconic sports car from Germany. I love this car so much, and this is what I most would look for in a car. That's why it's my favorite car that I drove. Just the perfect size, the perfect sound, the perfect handling and driving experience. I mean, everything about this was awesome. This was the other car that I really had to pinch myself and say, wow, I have the keys to a Porsche 911 in my possession. It was just a really awesome car. I said this, I did a YouTube short with a 911 Turbo this weekend, and I thought, you know what, if I came into some money, I think I would go a Porsche 911 before I would get a Ferrari. Just something to sort of get me in the sports car vein. But yeah, this is a 2017 911, so it's not even the current generation. I have in my eyes to review a new 911 this year, and I really hope I can make that happen. But yeah, Porsche 911, definitely my favorite car that I drove this year, and probably my favorite car that I've ever driven, along with that Taycan. That thing was pretty special too. But just look at it; it's perfect. It's a perfect car, I think, even as a 911 base, the Carrera T, which is what this was. So this is my favorite car I drove last year. Alright, so that's it. Those are my 8 favorite cars I've driven last year in 2021. I hope to continue to have fun making nice car content for you guys. I still enjoy doing it. So I'm going to keep doing it for the foreseeable future. So now it's 2022. I have a couple things on my plate, and something really special might happen in the next week or two, but we'll have to see how the weather pans out. So as always, if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at GemmyD on Cars. Hope you have a fantastic evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.